Welcome back, coin hunters, to another incredible journey into the world of America's most valuable pocket change, where we're about to explore a dime that's worth more than most people make in several months of work. Today, we're uncovering the fascinating story of the 2000 P. Roosevelt dime with a notorious dirty die error. And when I reveal the current market values ranging from $14,000 to over $129,000, you're going to understand why collectors are frantically searching through every roll of dimes they could get their hands on. Let me take you back to the year 2000, a time when the world was celebrating the new millennium. Everyone was worried about Y2K computer crashes, and the Philadelphia Mint was busy producing what seemed like ordinary Roosevelt dimes for everyday circulation. Nobody could have predicted that deep within the Mint's production facility, a perfect storm of circumstances was brewing that would create one of the most spectacular and valuable error coins of the modern era. The Philadelphia Mint, America's original coin production facility, established way back in 1792, has always been the flagship of United States coinage. By the year 2000, this historic institution was operating with cutting-edge technology and decades of refined production expertise. The P mint mark that identifies Philadelphia-produced coins represents not just a location, but a tradition of excellence that spans over 2 centuries of American numismatic history. The Roosevelt dime design that was being struck in 2000 carried profound historical significance that makes this error even more meaningful. Franklin Delano Roosevelt's portrait, masterfully created by Chief Engraver John Sinek in 1946, was chosen specifically to honor a president who had transformed America through the Great Depression and World War II. The connection to the March of Dimes, Roosevelt's personal crusade against polio, gave this denomination special meaning that resonated with collectors and the general public alike. The reverse design, featuring the Torch of Liberty flanked by olive and oak branches, represents hope, peace, and strength, values that Roosevelt embodied throughout his presidency. When you hold a Roosevelt dime, you're holding a piece of American history that connects you directly to one of our nation's most transformative periods, making any error or variety of this coin particularly significant to collectors. Now here's where our story takes that dramatic turn that creates numismatic legend. During the 2000 production run at Philadelphia, something extraordinary happened in the die preparation and maintenance process that would forever change the landscape of Roosevelt dime collecting. The massive coining presses that strike millions of coins operate under tremendous pressure, requiring dies that are maintained in absolutely perfect condition to produce acceptable coins. These precision-engineered dies undergo constant inspection, cleaning, and maintenance throughout their operational life. However, during the production of certain 2000 P. Roosevelt dimes, contamination occurred on one of the striking dies that created what collectors now recognize as the dirty die variety. This wasn't just any ordinary die problem. Debris, grease, or foreign material became embedded in the die surface in such a way that it created distinctive markings and texture on every coin struck by that contaminated die. The result was a series of dimes that displayed unique surface characteristics completely different from normal 2000 P. Roosevelt dimes. These weren't subtle differences that required expert examination. Once you knew what to look for, the dirty die characteristics were immediately apparent and visually dramatic. The contaminated die continued operating long enough to strike a limited number of these extraordinary coins before the problem was detected and corrected. What makes this story even more incredible is that these valuable error coins went straight into circulation, mixing with millions of ordinary dimes throughout the American economy. For months and even years, people were unknowingly handling coins worth tens of thousands of dollars while buying coffee, paying for parking, or making small purchases at convenience stores. The discovery of the 2000 P dirty die variety came through the dedicated efforts of error coin specialists and variety hunters who systematically examine coins looking for the unusual and unexpected. These expert collectors, armed with magnification equipment and years of experience, began identifying examples that displayed the distinctive characteristics of die contamination. The visual impact of these errors was so dramatic that once the first examples were authenticated, word spread rapidly through the collecting community. Professional authentication became absolutely crucial as the significance and value of these coins became apparent. Grading services developed specific examination protocols for the 2000 P dirty die variety, using high-power microscopy and comparison with certified authentic examples to verify genuine errors and distinguish them from normal coins or potential counterfeits. The grading process for these exceptional coins follows the standard 70-point scale. But condition is absolutely critical when dealing with six-figure values. A coin graded at 64 might be worth thousands, while the same era graded at 67 could be worth tens of thousands more. The finest known examples achieving grades of 68 or higher represent the absolute pinnacle of condition and command the highest prices at auction. Market response to these discoveries was immediate and intense. Error coin collectors represent one of the most sophisticated and well-funded segments of the numismatic market, and they quickly recognized the significance of the 2000p dirty die variety. Major auction houses began featuring these coins as highlight lots, generating significant media attention and establishing benchmark values that shocked even experienced collectors. The technical fascination of these coins extends beyond their monetary value. The dirty die error provides insight into modern minting processes and demonstrates how minor variations in production can create extraordinary numismatic treasures. This educational aspect ensures continued interest from researchers and students of numismatics. Storage and preservation of these valuable coins requires museum-quality care, including certified holders, climate-controlled environments, and comprehensive insurance coverage. The investment in proper conservation is substantial, but essential when protecting coins worth more than luxury automobiles. Now for the moment that's going to change how you look at every dime in your possession. These remarkable 2000p dirty die Roosevelt dimes are currently selling for anywhere from $14,000 for lower grade examples to an absolutely staggering $129,540 for the finest known specimens. That's right, a 10-cent coin worth over $129,000. Proving that incredible numismatic treasures continue to hide in the most unexpected places. Transport yourself back to 1987, when Madonna was topping the charts. The Berlin Wall still divided Germany, and deep within the bustling Denver Mint facility, coin production workers were going about their routine daily operations, completely unaware they were about to create what would become one of the most coveted error coins in modern American numismatic history. The Denver Mint, established in 1906, and distinguished by its D mint mark, had built a reputation for producing millions of high-quality coins with remarkable precision and consistency. The Roosevelt dime itself carries extraordinary historical weight that makes any error variety particularly meaningful to collectors. When President Franklin Delano Roosevelt passed away in 1945, the nation mourned not just a political leader, but a man who had guided America through its darkest hours during the Great Depression and World War II. The decision to honor Roosevelt on the dime wasn't arbitrary. He had personally championed the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio, the very disease that had left him paralyzed from the waist down, making this denomination a deeply personal tribute to his legacy. Chief engraver John Sinnock's masterful portrait of Roosevelt, introduced in 1946, captures the president's determined spirit and dignified bearing in a left-facing profile that has become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. The reverse design, featuring a torch symbolizing liberty flanked by olive and oak branches representing peace and strength, creates a powerful visual narrative about American values and resilience that resonates with collectors decades later. BY 1987. The Denver Mint was operating at peak efficiency with state-of-the-art equipment and highly trained technicians who took immense pride in their craftsmanship. The coin production process appeared deceptively simple. Blank planchets fed into massive presses where they were struck between carefully prepared dies under tremendous pressure, creating the raised and recessed elements that form the coin's design. However, maintaining those dies in perfect condition required constant vigilance, regular cleaning, and precise maintenance protocols. Here's where our story takes that fateful turn that would create numismatic legend. During the 1987 D. Roosevelt dime production run, something unprecedented occurred with one of the striking dies that would forever change how collectors view modern mint errors. The dies used in coin production are precision-engineered tools that must remain absolutely clean and properly maintained to produce acceptable coins. But on this particular occasion, foreign material, whether debris, grease, or other contamination, became embedded in or attached to the die surface. This contamination created what collectors now universally recognize as the dirty die variety, producing coins with distinctive surface characteristics and textures that were never intended to be part of the original design. The contaminated die continued striking coins before the problem was detected, creating a small population of dimes that displayed dramatic visual differences from their normal counterparts. These weren't subtle variations requiring expert examination. The dirty die characteristics were immediately apparent to anyone who knew what to look for. The most remarkable aspect of this story is that these future numismatic treasures entered circulation immediately, mixing with millions of ordinary dimes throughout the American economy. For years, these coins worth more than luxury cars were being handed out as change at grocery stores, restaurants, and gas stations, completely unrecognized by the general public who had no idea they were handling pieces that would eventually command six-figure prices. The discovery and recognition of the 1987 dirty die variety came through the dedicated detective work of error coin specialists and variety hunters who systematically examined coins with magnification equipment and encyclopedic knowledge of what constitutes normal versus exceptional. These expert collectors began identifying examples displaying the unmistakable characteristics of die contamination, and word spread rapidly through the tight-knit community of serious numismatists. Professional authentication became absolutely critical as the significance and potential value of these coins became apparent. Major grading services developed specialized examination protocols specifically for the 1987 dirty die variety, employing high-powered microscopy and comparison with certified reference examples to distinguish genuine errors from normal coins or potential counterfeits. The grading process follows the industry-standard 70-point scale, but with these error coins, condition grades translate directly into dramatic value differences. A specimen graded at 64 might be worth tens of thousands, while an identical error graded just 3 points higher at 67 could command double or triple that amount. The finest known examples achieving grades of 68 or higher represent the absolute pinnacle of preservation and rarity. When these extraordinary coins began appearing at major numismatic auctions, the results sent shockwaves through the collecting community. Bidding wars erupted as sophisticated collectors competed fiercely for the limited number of available examples, consistently driving final prices far beyond pre-sale estimates and establishing new benchmarks for modern error coin values. The market has demonstrated remarkable stability and consistent appreciation for these coins, driven by their fundamental rarity, visual drama, and the ongoing fascination collectors have with spectacular mint errors. Unlike many collectibles that experience volatile price fluctuations, the 1987 dirty die variety has shown steady upward price movement that reflects genuine scarcity and sustained collector demand. Now here's the moment that's going to make you race to every coin collection, piggy bank, and forgotten jar of change you can find. These extraordinary 1987 dirty die Roosevelt dimes are currently selling for anywhere from $33,000 for lower grade examples to an absolutely mind-blowing $295,400 for the finest known specimens. That's right, a dime worth nearly $300,000, representing a return of almost 3,000,000% on its original 10-cent face value, and proving that incredible numismatic fortunes can still be discovered hiding in the most unexpected places. Let me paint you a picture of 1974 America. Richard Nixon had just resigned from the presidency. Gas prices were soaring due to the oil crisis, and the nation was experiencing significant economic turbulence. Meanwhile, deep inside the Denver Mint, skilled craftsmen were operating massive coining presses around the clock, producing millions of Roosevelt dimes for everyday commerce, completely unaware that they were about to create what would become one of the most sought-after error coins in modern American history. The Denver Mint facility, with its distinctive D Mint mark, had established itself as one of America's premier coin production centers since opening in 1906. By 1974, the Mint was utilizing advanced machinery and sophisticated quality control procedures that had been refined through decades of experience. The production environment was methodical and precise, with every step of the coining process carefully monitored to ensure consistent quality and adherence to strict specifications. The Roosevelt dime design, being struck in 1974, carried profound emotional and historical significance that makes any error variety particularly meaningful to collectors. Franklin Delano Roosevelt's portrait, brilliantly conceived by Chief Engraver John Sinek and introduced in 1946, represents far more than just presidential commemoration. It's a tribute to a leader who guided America through its greatest challenges during the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's personal connection to the dime runs even deeper through his founding of the March of Dimes campaign to combat polio, the very disease that had left him wheelchair-bound but never defeated. His indomitable spirit. When you examine a Roosevelt dime, you're looking at a piece of American resilience and determination that resonates powerfully with collectors who understand this historical context. The reverse design, featuring the torch of liberty flanked by olive and oak branches symbolizing peace and strength, creates a harmonious composition that has remained virtually unchanged since 1946. This consistency in design makes any production variation or error immediately recognizable to experienced collectors who have studied these coins for decades. Now here's where our story takes that dramatic turn that would forever change the landscape of Roosevelt dime collecting. During the 1974 deproduction run, something extraordinary occurred in the die maintenance process that would create numismatic history. The dies used to strike coins are precision instruments requiring constant care and attention. They must be kept absolutely clean and properly maintained to produce coins meeting the mint's exacting standards. However, during this particular production period, contamination developed on one of the striking dies in a way that would prove absolutely catastrophic for quality control, but incredibly fortunate for future collectors. Foreign material, whether metallic debris, accumulated grease, or other manufacturing residue, became embedded in the die's surface and began transferring distinctive markings onto every coin struck by that contaminated die. This contamination created what collectors now recognize as the dirty die variety. Coins displaying unique surface textures and characteristics that were completely unintended by the original design. The visual impact of these errors is immediately apparent to anyone familiar with normal Roosevelt dimes, creating dramatic contrasts and distinctive markings that make authentication relatively straightforward for experienced numismatists. The contaminated die continued operating long enough to produce a limited number of these exceptional error coins before mint personnel detected the problem and took corrective action. This brief production window created a small population of 1974 D Roosevelt dimes that would eventually become some of the most valuable coins produced during the entire decade. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is the path these coins took after leaving the mint. Rather than being detected and removed from circulation, these future numismatic treasures were distributed through normal banking channels and found their way into everyday commerce across America. For years, people unknowingly carried coins worth tens of thousands of dollars in their pockets, using them for bus fare, parking meters, and small purchases without any awareness of their extraordinary value. The recognition of the 1974 D Dirty Die variety emerged through the meticulous work of error coin specialists who dedicate their expertise to identifying unusual variations in coin production. These collectors, equipped with magnification tools and encyclopedic knowledge of normal coin characteristics, began noticing examples that displayed the telltale signs of die contamination during striking. Professional authentication became essential as the significance of these coins became apparent. Major grading services developed specific examination protocol for the 1974 D Dirty Die variety, utilizing advanced microscopy and comparison with authenticated reference specimens to verify genuine errors and distinguish them from normal coins or potential forgeries. The grading process is absolutely crucial for these coins because condition directly translates to value in ways that can mean the difference between a comfortable windfall and a life-changing fortune. Using the standard 70-point grading scale, a coin receiving a grade of 64 might be worth $25,000, while an identical error graded at 67 could command twice that amount or more. When these extraordinary coins began appearing at prestigious numismatic auctions, the results created waves of excitement throughout the collecting community. Competitive bidding regularly pushed final prices far beyond conservative estimates as collectors recognized they were witnessing the sale of genuine rarities that might not appear at auction again for years. The market performance of these coins has been remarkably consistent, showing steady appreciation driven by their fundamental scarcity and the ongoing fascination that collectors have with dramatic mint errors. The combination of visual appeal, historical significance, and proven rarity creates a compelling collecting proposition that appeals to both seasoned numismatists and serious investors. Now for the revelation that's going to make you examine every 1974 D dime with completely new eyes. These incredible 1974 Dirty Die Roosevelt dimes are currently selling for anywhere from $25,000 for lower-grade examples to an absolutely staggering $239,000 for the finest known specimens. That's right, a 10-cent coin worth nearly $250,000, proving once again that extraordinary numismatic treasures can be hiding in the most unexpected places, waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize their true value.